Morning everybody, Saturday the 30th of May, and I'm actually in a field of lucerne. So as a quick background check on this is our land, but we've done a swap for the field next door where we are growing winter beans. And I'm actually out here to have a look at the beans, but whilst I was out here I thought I would just show you the lucerne. So lucerne, or alfalfa as they call it in the States. And we're going to get a Labrador here. Right, go away. So as you can see, it really it branches from its base, and this crown is what you need to protect. It's quite delicate, but you can cut it as long as you don't damage the crown. And it loves two things. It loves hot weather, and it loves it has a massive taproot, so great for breaking compaction. It goes down as much as 25 meters. Now, as you will guess from this little hole we have here, establishment has not been great. So I start on a nice strong bit to show you what the crop can look like. Here at the bottom is pretty good, but as we go up the hill it gets progressively worse, to such an extent that the field at the top has failed. Now, one thing it doesn't like is moisture. It was always a bit touch and go, this block. It does stand quite wet. In fact, the field next door we decided was too wet. The contractor in question is growing seed hay next door because we thought it was too wet. But actually, as we go up the hill, you'd expect less water, and at the top of the hill is the one that's failed. So a little bit disappointed with that. But now let's pop next door to his land where I'm growing winter beans after seed hay, and we've got a couple of interesting observations for that block. Okay, so we're in the field of beans next door, and actually I was on a soil health workshop this week, and one of the other participants said to me, can regenerative farming be rolled out at scale? And I had to say yes. It requires extra attention to detail and a real sense of observation by the farmer, and this field is an example in case. And to be fair, I don't have the answer, so if you guys could add a comment in the bottom, what do you think might be responsible, it would be helpful. So the outside of this field looks great. The beans are about 4 feet high, which is pretty good considering their chocolate spot challenge. However, as we go into the field, about probably to the first tram line, they progressively drop off to the point at which they're only about a foot tall. So good healthy beans here, but as you can see, as we go across the field, they really drop off. Now, and there's a patch in the corner where you can actually see the soil. Now, as we look down the field, hopefully you can see the drop from right to left. Now, so that then brings me to what could have caused this. So my agronomist thought it might be spray damage, but I'm not convinced by that, because if you had had a spray miss, surely it would only be 1 or 2 meters. It certainly wouldn't be this 4 or 5 meters that we have here. I suppose it might be residual chemical. That could be a possibility, but it was only seed grass. It wasn't the lucerne. As you can see there, that's pretty damaged. That's down to 1 foot. And there's a fair amount of chocolate spots. And it was very noticeable in the spring that the chocolate spots had targeted the areas where the crop was already under stress. For example, waterlogging. which I think comes to my answer. But here's another example. Really, you can see the difference in height. We're 4 foot here, and then it drops off quite considerably all the way down to probably a couple of feet over there. Now, so the other clue might be from its previous use. The seed hay definitely gets a lot of mechanized activity. That's tedding. It's going to be tedded at least 4 or 5 times before rowing up. Then you have the machinery coming to bale it, and then he runs a bale chaser. So quite a lot of machinery out here. That has led to compaction, which has caused waterlogging issues through the winter, led to a stress crop which got more affected by chocolate spot. But as you can see here, it's persisted throughout the growing season as the roots have really struggled to penetrate deeper. So fortunately, it's come across in the beans and enables us to take some sort of remedial action. It was drilled with the Claydon and we did put the tine in, but obviously still not deep enough. So for us, that is a bit of a warning call as far as repeating this operation going forward. It's worth saying we put the tine in as deep as the tractor would pull it with the Claydon. We knew it could be an issue, but it just wasn't deep enough. So let's walk down and see if we get any more clues. Look at the bean loading on this plant. I don't think I've ever seen beans like that. Look at them. Looks like a banana plant. It's impressive. If only they were all like this. But the bean load does seem to be good and quite high up the plant. It's just so variable. You go from everything from, just went through a section over here that was almost 5 foot, all the way down to this over here. Which, look at this, you can see straight soil here. So that compaction would be my call, but it would be, I'd appreciate your answers. In fact, I know it's compaction. I've just seen what something. Okay, so this look at this. I don't know if the camera can pick it up. Let's see if I can go back a bit. But there is a ridge line in this crop where it suddenly goes up a good metre or so. So let's follow this. I'm thinking we have got, this will be a drain at the end of this. And in fact, I can see the improved crop. Not the best place to walk. These beans are quite thick. Right, let's see if we can get through here. Probably 4.5 feet, these beans. This is what I was hoping to grow. Look at this. Probably too thick. Not as many pods. But I'm thinking we should have some sort of drain outlet here. That's interesting. I would have sworn that would have been a drain down here. Oh. But it's interesting. It could be as simple as the fact that it does align kind of with the back of that house. I wonder if it's a bit more organic matter, that it used to be a hedge line or something like that. But it's very straight, very linear. We're on a particularly bad bit here by the headland, but I just wanted to show you. Look at this funnel web spider. Look at this. Look. Amazing. Won't be putting my finger down there. despite all the doom and gloom and soul searching about this crop of beans, it's worth also pointing out something else. Even here, which is a particularly bad bit of crop, and you can really see here absolute desert-like conditions. But the whole reason for getting involved with this field was to try and break up the swath of the grass. And despite the fact that the beans have failed in this area, oh crikey, this is hard. You can see that basically there is no grass left on the surface. This will form a nice cultivation base for our wheat to come. But my goodness me, that is hard. That is. And really that was the sort of environment that we were working on the end of last summer, and we're obviously only in May now. But at least the grass sward has disappeared, which is what the beans were meant to do. So this is probably the most stark example here. So right at the edge of the farm track, beans are very healthy, 4 foot, probably a metre wide, and then bosh, down to 2 feet. And in fact, if we go into the field a little bit, you can see soil. So I think my conclusion is compaction. This field in particular is quite small, and it's got some telegraph poles. It makes working it very difficult, and so it will be a machinery will drive all over the place, increasing the compaction. So I think what we're really seeing here is a compaction issue. Morning everybody, it's Sunday the 31st of May. I'm just out in this field of spring wheat, and it's low input spring wheat, and I just wanted to give you a bit of extra background on it. So this follows grazed over winter mustard cover crop. It was majority of mustard. There was some vetch in there, but majority of mustard. So sheep graze over the winter, pass with the terrace star, and then drilled with the Claydon. We wanted to go with the Sky, but it wasn't operational at the time, so we drilled it with the Claydon. I just wanted to comment on the change of this crop in a week. So the last week we've had really high temperatures, sort of late 20s. Now the last week this crop was decidedly backward, and it was suffering drought stress, and I don't know, we were probably talking 4 inches. It is considerably taller. As we walk out into the main bit of the crop, it's probably worth saying that this field is a little bit heavier. It's chalk, but as you can see we've got quite a significant valley, and there's a stream of black grass kind of indicating heavier soil here. But now look at this, we are talking pretty good sort of, I'd say 1 foot, sort of 12-inch type stuff. We have got a lot of fumitory in here. This whole block of spring wheat has had 2 passes with the weeder, and the one concern I do have is that the small flints are all on the surface now, and I think we're too late to go through with a roll to push them back in. You can see we're well into stem extension now. The other point is we were talking about blackgrass. Now there is blackgrass here, but there is certainly more next door. The reason for stopping here is it was just a bit of an observation about the spring wheat. So we've had, up until this leap in temperatures, we've had quite consistent frosts, and my impression was, when I used to keep sheep, frost had a really profound impact on their growth rates. And in fact, when you were forecasting lamb growth, if you had a day with a frost, you got no growth that day. So it's always been in the back of my mind that that frost has really quite a significant and underestimated effect on crops or grasses. And I just wanted to touch base here and say that's what I think's happened here, that the frost was was actually suppressing growth. Now this amount of growth, going 6 to 7 inches in 1 week, is unheard of and basically impossible when we haven't had any rain. The only way it's possible is if during the frost period that cell division was occurring, but cells weren't able to elongate. Then when the higher temperatures come in, the systems can turn over much faster and cells can elongate. That's the only way you could generate this much growth that quickly. So having gone from almost writing this crop off as a drought failure last week, I'm absolutely lost for words about the improvement in the week. So just a little observation I wanted to share with you guys.